So in this video, I'm going to explain how we get a near 0% churn rate on clients paying us $665 per month for a software that they continue to use and they do not churn out of, okay? And so I'm going to explain exactly how we've built a software to achieve a 0% churn rate like this, where you have a client paying you $665 a month and you can see you have an LTV that goes in the $7,000 range. Here's another example of another client, no failed payments, and over here you see another example of a client paying us $10,000 a year because this client is on the yearly plan. Now obviously this is in pounds, but they're getting billed yearly, and every year we get $10,000 out of them, meaning if they stay on for 10 years, we make $100,000 from this client, which is, I honestly think, very typical for a software where, as I'm going to break down in this video, has very high utility and high switching costs. And so basically the reason we don't have any failed payments is because we sell something people are quote unquote locked into. Now, before we get into all of this stuff and really like explaining from A to Z how we have a near 0% churn rate, the reason this video was made possible is because my last video where I broke down how we get these extremely happy clients and we get these testimonials and we get all these referrals. By the way, you can watch that video. It's going to be somewhere here on screen. Of course, watch it after this one. But the reason this analysis video was made possible is because that video reached 1,000 likes. And so if this video right here gets 1,000 likes as well, I'm going to show you how I get 3 clients per day paying me $665 a month each, okay? And I'm literally going to walk you through how we get our calendar to look like this and how we close 3 clients a day and have a very high conversion rate. So I'm just literally going to break all of that down in that video. But for now, let's talk about this, okay? So you want to sell something that people are locked into and that they cannot escape from, right? It's like paying rent or paying your electricity bill, right? No matter what you do, no matter the time of the day, your clients pay you. And this is very different from an info business or an agency business or an AI agency business, whatever business model there is nowadays. Because once my clients pay me, they pay me forever, right? And really the reason that is because of this equation. So we have utility times switching costs over effort and risk. So let me break this down. The only way to make yourself irreplaceable and to get clients paying you forever is to be very high utility, okay? And I'm going to break down levels of utility for a business. Obviously this is B2B. And then you want high switching costs, meaning the costs to switch away from a different tool or a different business that provides maybe the same solution. So the cost to switch to a competitor of yours is also high. Meaning, if we turn off our software or if they were to go to a competitor, they would have to restart from scratch. And it would be very expensive for them because they would waste a lot of time. They would have to get onboarded with this new software and just do everything from scratch again. And it doesn't make sense for them because we are making them so much money. They get such a great return using this tool that for them to switch away is very costly and it doesn't make sense. And so utility time switching costs is going to be divided by the level of effort times the level of risk. The idea is you want to increase this part of the equation and you want to decrease this part of the equation. So you want it to be low effort for the client. So whether it's done for you, done with you, or do it yourself is very high effort, done for you is very low effort. And then risk, how much risk is there involved? Is there a setup fee, etc., etc. So first, let's talk about this top part of the equation, utility time switching costs, okay? How do you actually get better utility so that your clients stay locked in and don't go to a competitor? Now there's this quote that goes by, you get paid in proportion of the problems you solve. And so the idea is, if you solve bigger problems, you get paid more money. And so for a software that charges $10,000 a year, it better be solving a massive problem for these businesses. And so I broke down here 5 levels of problem solving you can do for a business that as you go down these levels, you make more money. So the first problem you can solve for a business is visibility, okay? So these are things like building them a website, providing them like an ad launcher tool, running their ads. Another thing is reputation management, so getting them more Google reviews so that they rank higher on search engines. Another thing is like a content scheduler, right? So on social media, you can give them a tool which is like going to automatically post their content on socials, which is not a massive thing they're going to be willing to pay for, okay? If it's their website, I would say they would pay a lot, but they would most likely not pay more than $100 a month for a website, because again, visibility, is it a big problem you're solving? No, because if we go to level 2, then we have leads. Okay, so you go from visibility, the problem you're solving is that you're sending traffic over to their funnel. But now with leads, you're actually getting them prospects, in other words, emails and phone numbers of people that are interested in potentially buying, right? So this is where you provide maybe a tool that gives them a lead form. This is where you can sell chat widgets or any type of ad optimization tool. So like, for example, ad tracking. Don't get me wrong, it's valuable, but you can still make more money because we have the next level. We then have booked appointments or jobs or projects, okay, depending on the niche you're in. Now, in our case, since we're in the med spa niche, this would be appointments, but we actually don't even solve this problem. We solve something different, as I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But this is where you have maybe a software that is a high impact calendar. Maybe you have missed call text back, or maybe you have an AI that automatically has a conversation with the leads to help turn them into an appointment. Again, this is something people would be willing to pay a lot for. So the argument here is that you make a little bit more money as you move down this ladder here by getting people appointments, because again, you're getting one step closer to the actual money that you're generating for them, solving a bigger and bigger problem. Now, the next level of this is if you actually help them generate more sales, generate more closes. Okay, so this is why softwares that have an integrated payment terminal, so the software is the actual tool that is between their clients and your clients, a tool with a checkout page, some sort of payment gateway, softwares that do these things like Square. You think of restaurant softwares like Toast that provide literally the hardware and the software to make running the entire restaurant possible. Again, you just make more money because you have very high utility. You're literally the tool they use to get paid. And by default, you also have high switching costs, because why would they cancel from a software that is their payment gateway and that maybe has low fees? Now, you can also think of closing for a business in terms of actually like helping them turn an appointment into a close. So again, maybe that's an AI tool that helps someone turn an appointment into a close by sending them relevant case studies. Whatever it is, if you help generate sales, it's very high utility. Now, most people think you can stop here. Like, you can't do more than helping a business get more sales, can you? Well, actually, you can. And this is actually what we do, which is you can help a business keep their clients for longer and keep them paying over and over again. And so this is where you can help with client retention, right? And so this is why softwares like Go High Level, School, or WAP that have a recurring billing tool that helps them sell memberships or sell communities or sell whatever it is that brings them repeat business are worth billions. This is why EMRs, CRMs make so much money, is because not only do they help with the transactions, they help with the repeat transactions, and they keep your clients for you on the platform, either by sending emails, sending SMS marketing, or by literally being, in the case of School, the platform where they talk to you and communicate with you and where everything happens. And the reason you get paid the most when solving the client retention of a business is because if you can increase their client LTV, you solve a lot of issues they have in their business. If they can get their clients to spend more with them by just a couple $100s, all of a sudden their business explodes because they have more money to spend on marketing, more money to hire, more money to grow. And if you solve the client retention, that's when a business really starts to grow. Okay, most businesses get clients that come in, right? They come in from a website, from leads, from appointments, and they become a close, but then the client just leaves. What you want is a tool that retains the client, comes back, and that is going to make it extremely difficult for them to cancel this one, because you are the reason they can continue to even invest in all this stuff up here. Okay, So this is why client retention is the most high utility, high switching costs thing you can do for a business. And this is actually what we do with Dermis, right? So for example, if you look at this client dashboard here, if we go the last 3 months, right? Ever since this client started with us in October, we're now the 20th of December, we have generated for them 17,000 pounds from rewards and cash balance and 56,000 pounds from notification offers. So we have these little offers. Like for example, when it's Christmas, you can run an offer on your app where this clinic can discount all of our products. And we have things like these birthday offers that get sent to the client and automatically gives them discounts based on the treatments that they've clicked on the app when they've been browsing. And so like obviously if this is a software that is generating 56,000 pounds, which comes to around $700 in the span of 2 to 3 months, just from push notification offers and rewards in an app format, are they going to cancel that software? No, never. Is it justifiable to pay $10,000 a year for a software like that? Of course. I would make that trade anytime if that's how much money is made from this tool. Now, the next piece of the puzzle is solving for effort and risk. So while this one determined how much money each individual client pays you, which is very important, this helps you increase your actual prices. If you decrease this part of the equation, it's going to determine how many clients you have, okay? And so this is also crucial. So the first level we have is if you charge an upfront fee and a contract. So this is very annoying. People do not like upfront setup fees, and they do not like to get locked into a contract, right? They want to see the software work for them first. Obviously, this makes sense. The next level is you have an upfront setup fee plus cancel anytime. So this is what we had at some point, but we just continually turn people away because, again, it's the setup fee that annoys them, but the fact that they could cancel anytime was really reassuring. The next level is having no setup fee, but just having monthly payment upfront. So there's no free trial. You just start the subscription of the tool or the service that you're providing. Again, you're automatically going to get more people doing that. Then you have a 7-day free trial. Then you have a 14-day free trial, 30-day free trial, and then you have freemium. Okay, so once you reach this freemium level, this is where you become a multi-billion-dollar company because you get so many clients coming in. It's such a low risk thing. Like you could start on Canva for free. Most people don't know that Google charges money because everything is free. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. Same thing with softwares like Trello, like Loom. It's free to start, but then at some point you have to upgrade because so many people use it because it's free. They get hordes and hordes of clients. Personally, we are between levels 2 and 3, but eventually the goal is to go down this ladder, which is a very hard thing to do. It's very hard to get people on a trial and actually commit. Your software has to be really, really good. Another thing to consider is the time to win moment. So one thing that really frustrated people with Dermis is that it would take a massive amount of time for them to have their app built. So we would actually have a human go on their website and manually go in the app builder here and just create a new product, give it a name, give it an image, and then like upload all of these products inside of their app. And so what we recently did is that we now have an AI that literally they just sign up, put in their website, the AI then scrapes their website, pulls in all of the treatments, the color, the logos, all these details here, and it immediately builds them their app. So in 30 minutes, they can have their app built. What this does, again, is that it reduces the time to win. So whereas it took 2-3 weeks to launch their app and to make money on it, which used to be really frustrating and used to be a huge cancellation point for us, it's now immediate and they could launch whenever they want, right? And so again, this is a huge factor. It's not only your business model, whether you have a free trial or not, it's how fast can people get set up and see the ROI of your thing, right? So yeah, with that said, that is everything. Again, if this video gets 1,000 likes, I will make an analysis on how we get a full packed calendar exactly like this and get 3 closes a day. So make sure to like this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.